You're on.
I gotta get
We got 30
the
seconds.
technology going.
We're gonna have to do this for 3 years.
Me too.
Welcome to Open Voice Audio Services. Please enter your conference room number followed by the pound or hash sign. Conference room number accepted. If you are the organizer, press the star key now. Please enter.
Can you be rude to a recorded voice?
For a menu of available commands,
Do
press
what?
star 1. There is one other caller on the call. All participants are muted, but may unmute themselves.
Are we all set?
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning.
Or do we need to turn her a little?
Yeah, I think I turned her thing on, yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
Good morning. This is the Town of Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen's meeting for Monday, April 13th. Before we begin, let's start with honoring America with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
This conference will now be recorded.
one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to read the following statement into the record. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically may call the following conference call number from their home. They call 1-888-585-9008. When prompted, follow the instructions by entering conference room meeting ID number 409-231-183. If you have any issues entering this meeting electronically using the aforementioned instructions, please dial 603-476-2366. Meeting is called to order.
And who were they gonna get at that number?
They'll get Karen.
Okay, so it's
Yep.
selectmen's.
As we start public input, I'd like to inform the board that former Selectman Ted Benz has passed away. I'd like to offer a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll now open this up to public input.
I'm all set.
He's the only public we have.
Okay. Next, we'll go to the review and approval of minutes. The Monday, April 6th, the 9 a.m. minutes. I have no issues.
I move approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, our non-public April 6th at 11:50 a.m. I have no issues.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. That's it for minutes, right?
Do we need to have these remain sealed? I don't know, but if there's anything.
They're legal, aren't they?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
And moving right along, appointments. Jack Parsons, welcome.
Good morning.
Hey, Jack, if you would sit up at that seat, close to the microphone. So last week I had some issues with not being heard, so we'll try this social distance seating position. I appreciate that, thanks.
Okay, we have 29 new building permits, 7 new homes,
I've done 105 inspections. And I've talked to Donor, who's gonna do the town, in the town office, and he's gonna get on it. He's gonna do
105, what, I'm sorry.
105 inspections so far. He's gonna get on, he's gonna do the doors, I guess, at the transfer station first, and then he's gonna do the windows at the town office. The beach parking lot's coming along good. We had to move the swim platform, so Jim Bean came down with forks, and I helped him move the swim platforms to the other side of the wooden rail that's in the parking lot. They're in the corner, so that's where they're gonna have to be placed in the winter now, because where they were before was actually in the middle of the drainage ditch, so that's coming along down there. Obviously, the weather's.
Are they doing the steps that we talked about?
That's totally up to you, because I know the email that came out, there was a cost for that.
Yeah, we have to deal with that
You have
today.
to deal with that. Their equipment's still there because it didn't work Friday. So they just don't want to take the equipment out and come back and do it. It'll be an additional cost, so. And they still have to pull the sand back, I believe, and foam those blocks to keep the sand from washing out, so. That's coming along pretty good.
So have they completed the work on the parking lot that they're,
They graded it and rolled it. I think they have to seed the loam that they did in the play area there. They put the drainage ditches and stone, excuse me, either side of the pavilion roof, so that's done. They did do ditch. They did a retention pond on the right side of the parking lot coming in, one to the left of where the porta potty is. They still have to do that planting area by the shorefront. So the only issue I would see in the whole thing is the drainage ditch that's on the right inside the retention pond when you pull in. I think I have to stake it or mark it with something, because obviously a car can drive into it, so it's a little different than it was down there. They took a few trees down.
so maybe if we put up like some
I wouldn't
short
put
posts?
a short post or something, maybe some wooden stuff and a little rail around it or something, just to keep people from backing into it.
And is that gonna, when you plow in the wintertime, does that?
Well, they usually plow head on in,
Okay.
so they can make the corner and come in and plow against the woods on the 109 side, and then they usually push the length of the parking lot, so that should be good.
Any thoughts on the ramp?
On the ramp, they repaired the ramp. The reason it got torn out is because they didn't pour concrete at the base last year when they did it, because it was too frozen.
And they told us that at the time, that they
Correct.
weren't able to finish that lower part,
Right,
right?
the top was concreted in the granite, the top was fine, it was the bottom that came loose, and once the bottom came loose, a couple of the tiles came up and they got broken, but they're
So now, in
repaired.
the winter time, you shouldn't have any issues with that room?
I can't say we won't have any issues, I mean, you don't know what the frost is gonna do with sometimes with the blocks that are in there, so. I would say the first few times it's plowed, just have to be careful until it freezes in.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of times in the shorefront, the ground's not frozen by the time it snows, so.
I'm all set.
So, any particular challenges you have in the current environment?
People coming in on a limited basis. I usually leave a permit or something on the door and they'll pick it up, or they'll mail them in. So when they don't come in, or I don't get plans right away, I'll get an application in the mail and the plan. I'll get an application by email and the plans will come in by mail or they're in my door, so it's a little delayed for them, but it seems to be working okay.
Yeah, I mean, the objective is how do we do business as close to normal as we can
Correct.
with limiting, you know, the close impact between people, so.
Yeah, there's still quite a few projects going on, as you said, there's 7 houses this year, so.
You told me that you've done more than an inspection a day, which
Yeah.
is an uptick, so
Yeah.
it is business as usual.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna slow down. I mean, they're talking, you know, everybody's worried about the general economy. But I don't see with all these people that are coming up here to avoid being in Boston, I think there's gonna be
Yeah.
a
There'll be more
growth.
and more relocations myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that, it's nice that Farm Pond is coming together now that
Yeah,
he's getting his road.
yeah. So, yeah, I know they, digging down there, put cable in, and got a couple things to do and they're gonna pave it, so.
So the work down at the 19 Mile Bridge Store continues. I see trucks there all the time.
Yeah, they're doing the heating system now, and they had the gas piping all done, wiring and plumbing is being done now, so. It's a little delayed for some of their contractors, because some were, the electrician they had done there was working, and then the gentleman who was in charge decided that because of this situation now, didn't want to work anymore, so he stopped, so they had to find another electrician, so it's, we're getting through it, but it's gonna be a little delayed, I think. So.
There's still.
They might be opening the gas pumps ahead, before the store is open, which is allowed, because it's all state permits, so.
Yeah.
You just have to get the phone line hooked up there so they get the credit card machine done, so possibly the gas pump will be open fairly soon, so.
And they're still projecting Memorial Day?
They're not sure, it just depends all their subs. So again, the state, the state, some of their inspectors aren't coming out. The food division has to continue working, but they're going out on a limited basis, I was told, so they still have to get inspections from the states.
To change the subject, we had some cleanup projects that were in the works. Are those people going to get back at it? Or?
The one on Dane Road, it was actually, she went to court last week with Rick, and they gave her until the middle of June to make sure everything's cleaned up, and I'll go take a look at that. The one on Mountain Road, I haven't gone back out there, it's just the weather's bad.
And is the one in Hidden Valley?
That was all taken care of.
Have you seen any of his properties recently? I mean,
Yeah, I
is he
drove into
backsliding
Let It Lane the other day, and it looked the same as it did.
after he got cleaned up?
Yeah, there might have been another trail there, but it was registered, so stuff like that, but it's pretty much the same. I didn't go way down that, obviously, because it's pretty soft out there.
I'm all set.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for keeping
Thanks,
the
Jack.
trains running. It's appreciated.
No problem.
Before we go on, if I can address the audio access a little bit. I know we've had some correspondence from people this week concerned about coming into the townhouse to meet with us, and that, you know, we're not in a situation where we're wiping down all the surfaces every time somebody turns around, that sort of thing. And I guess my thought on that is, one of the things that the current arrangement with this conference call phone allows is for somebody to have an appointment with us by phone, that they don't have to actually come sit here. So, and that, my thought would be to encourage people that have a concern, hey, if you have a concern, don't come out. You can call in and we can conduct the business over the phone. And I personally don't want people to feel that they are putting themselves at any undue risk in order to conduct business with the town. But I just offer that because of some correspondence we've gotten this week from people that are concerned about that. Reinforce that they have access to our meetings by calling into the system and make an appointment with Karen, and she'll take care of when you call in and making sure that we can have the conversation.
And with that note, our next conversation is with Clay Gallagher remotely.
Is he here?
Is
Hey,
Clay?
Clay, you should be all set.
Good morning,
Okay,
Clay.
can you hear me?
Yes. Clay, I've handed out the
Great.
paperwork. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, the typical paperwork, the first is the agenda, the second and third page is the specific wrap-up and the monthly totals. For the month of March, we had 9 solid waste compactors, 7 CD containers, 2 plastic containers. We moved 1 glass container, 14.74 tons. Cost total was $659. That's split between transport of $143 and glass crushing through NRA 1.26 tons. Transportation cost was $243. And we moved one electronics container, 6,000 pounds, $1,275. The revenues through the end of March were approximately $13,100. The same time last year was $16,117. That's primarily due to it's an off sticker year. So, we're going to be down in revenues a little bit because it's the second year of the stickers, and we don't get as much. So, as far as the rest of the movements, we cleared most everything out. We're going to have a couple of either today. I'm sitting up here this morning with the offices and the compactor offices getting cleaned and then disinfected through MCT, the company out of Tilton, and we'll see how they do. We've executed our COVID-19 plan as coordinated and directed. The changes have been extremely well received by everybody here. Anybody that has a question, usually we keep them well at bay and we tell them what we published on the website and the rationale for doing it, and everybody has been very supportive. Overall, it's working very well, and it's reduced the socializing and spacing issues at the facility. DES has been notified and approved our change. And when we change back, I'll re-notify them, and they'll pull the temporary operations plan out of our folder, and we'll be back to normal. Personal protective equipment. I gave Lloyd a package yesterday. He can show you that it's basically what I did. I went out and got everything that I could think of for our guys that we could keep in a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag. It'll have an N95 mask in there, and then I went through my dentist down in Wolfboro, found a group of ladies that use a cloth mask, and I got a cloth mask, a couple of them, that'll go over the N95 mask for each of our guys. Included in the package is safety glasses, earplugs, ear protectors, and a couple pairs of rubber gloves. We have the boxes of rubber gloves inside the building, so as they use them, and it's basically if you handle something, it's a one-time use, and then take them off and throw them away, and then re-up the supply for your little plastic bag as necessary. We're going to have a training session tomorrow with all the people up here, because basically all of our in session or at location training classes have been canceled. NRA has canceled their annual conference, and so we have designed, in accordance with Tara Albert's instructions, we've designed training tomorrow for all 6 of us up here. We're going to do one person at a time. Carrie Long has done a great job setting it up, from the agenda, the outline, and we're going to go through all of the COVID-19 changes, the notifications. We're going to go through what's published on the website, all the documentation through DES and from the town, and then we're going to go through what each person does up in the compactor. And what we're doing right now is we're staying isolated. The compactor door is locked, so no one can barge in on it. We can open the window and talk. It gives us that automatic 6 feet plus separation from the customer. If we see that they have some recyclables in their car in the trunk, and they're not throwing them in, then we inform them, the building down below is closed, Most of them now know because we've been through this almost 2 weeks. So everybody's been up here once. It's very rare that we get somebody new now. But if they have large pieces of cardboard like TV, you know, these big screen TVs, boxes or something like that, we're putting those in the CD container number 1. And if they have plastics, they can go around the back loading dock and dump them right into the 30-yard container. If they have glass, it can go in the glass 30-yard container. So it's a one-stop. The only thing we don't have going is the aluminum cans and steel cans, and we're still trying to figure out a way of doing that, and we may add that on as we progress with this. If we can come up with a way to do it, which won't add another stop, but it'll be convenient, and then we can ship the cans out just like we do the steel tin cans now. We'll go with that. But we're going to have the training class to go through all that stuff with all the employees. That'll give us our annual requirements, and we should be able to update everybody's license with those requirements in there. We've also put up new signs. That was part of the evaluation, was to get better signage. We got a new sign. I need to get in touch with Jim and get a couple more iron posts to put the signs on. But there's a new sign at the Elite Yard Waste. There's a new sign down by the appliances with propane. And there's a new sign for propane and a new sign for construction-free bulky waste area. So we've done better with the signs and got that done. And the safety equipment should cover the safety equipment from last year's safety inspection. And that's about it.
So up by the brush and leaf disposal area, I thought I saw
Pardon me?
up in the area where you put the brush. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I noticed some brick.
Yeah, there's some bricks there.
Are those available?
Sure, anybody that wants them.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody that wants them can take them. We've had a few people ask and take them already. The pile is dwindling down a little bit, but rather than throw them in the construction debris and pay for all that waste, we put them up there, and I didn't think it was going to work, but it's a product that a lot of people obviously want and do projects with at home. So it seems like a few people have picked stuff up. So we'll let it go for a while, and then whatever's left over, we'll get rid of.
Yeah, I was approached, so there must be a market for it if they're calling me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of your employees are healthy? Did we lose them?
Clay?
I guess not.
Yeah. Is he gone, Karen?
He was on his cell phone, and it seems like maybe he got disconnected that way.
Oh, no, I can hear it.
Yeah, you're a little scratchy, Clay.
Oh, sorry.
So are all your employees healthy?
Pardon me, you're cut out there just a second.
Are all your employees healthy?
Yes, everybody's good. We had one guy come down with a little bit of cough last week, but it was more of allergy or just a mild cold, and he's all better. So.
All right.
I'm all set.
Thanks for
And we
playing.
have a backup plan. We do have a backup plan if for some reason the three primary guys here get knocked out because one person is sick. Then we have Carrie Carrie and Ralph can come in and I can talk on the phone to Carrie, and Carrie qualified to obviously be here and be in charge of the facility.
Well, thank you, Clay.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Clay.
Anything else?
Nice.
All right, I'm loaded up. I'll get my little patch back from you sometime later.
I'll be up today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good job, sir.
Good one. Bye.
Well, that's all good news, isn't it?
Yep.
Let's move on to signature file. A bid request for town beach project from Dave Kribbe. Did you have an opportunity to read it?
Yep.
And what are your thoughts?
And is this the stuff?
This is to add the steps.
Have you read this?
So it's like $7,000 to add the step to what's there. And if we do that before he's finished with all the work that he's doing down there, if not, I think there's an additional mobilization charge. They haven't come back out. So,
But we've spent out the warrant article.
yeah, the warrant article was for approximately what we had left. So it's, we will need to find money someplace else.
19 Mile Bay Beach Improvement
Yeah,
was $34,000.
yeah. And that was approximately what, I haven't seen the final bill yet, so.
This was March 30th, the printout. No money had been spent yet.
Right, because he just did the work this past week, so he's,
And I don't remember signing
Well-
a check, do you?
no, he hasn't finished yet, so he hasn't invoiced it. Well, I will move that we approve the additional work to add the step. I presume that it will go about the middle of the wall, and the purpose of the step is to provide easier access for people stepping over the wall from the perched beach down to the natural shoreline.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? And under discussion, it's $6,795.
Right. Yep.
So we should ask, are we meeting next Monday?
No, we're meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay, so we should ask for Diane to put together a budget for us,
Yes.
so we can figure out where we want to drag that from.
Yep.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? And this takes one signature. You ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
And Karen, you'll take care of calling him back this morning and letting him know that we want to proceed?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item for discussion is Farm Pond Road and an estimate from HEB.
Yeah, Bill had a note on that he thought that HEB had already been contracted.
Well, so here's what happens with a project, typically with the planning board, and as far as I can tell, I haven't gone back in the file, it was true with this one. When somebody does a subdivision, and the subdivision is approved, set of drawings, then a third-party engineering firm is hired to monitor and verify that the work gets done to the drawings, and where it varies from the drawings, we end up with an as-built, and the as-built is an acceptable deviation from the original design. HEB was the firm that was hired to do this work, and they've done a number of inspections, but not for a while. The developer has a bond posted with the town, the planning board, to cover work that he said he will do. As I recall, when we started working on getting the roads turned over, he had indicated, I believe through his attorney, that his preference was that he do the work and not he doesn't actually have a bond, he has a letter of credit from a bank that guarantees a certain amount of money for the work. So rather than exercise that to get the money, that he wants to pay it all out of his own pocket and not do that in the end. So before the subdivision is finally signed off, the engineer, the third-party engineer has to go back and do an inspection and report back to the planning board, and the planning board actually signs off on it. When we met with HEB last Monday over the phone, we talked about having them look at inspecting the road, and he gave us a price as a separate item, separate from anything else that they're doing. I don't recommend that we hire them separately. I think the existing process is fine for getting it done, and we have two sort of parallel things going on. One is final approval of subdivision, which happens once all the conditions have been met. And my understanding is it's fairly close to being there now anyway, other than the final coat of pavement, but I don't know that for sure because the engineer hasn't been out and gone through it. So if we go through a separate process, it seems to me that it's just duplication and of.
So my understanding, and I don't know, excuse me, I don't know if it's true in this case, is that the landowner pays that third-party engineer.
Absolutely.
So the process needs to play out, as you said, on the planning board end of things. So we got a final approval
Right.
of all conditions met.
Right.
That's all we really want.
That's exactly right.
So they can send another bill, obviously, if they spend more time.
But they already have a contract with the planning board to do this work,
Right.
whatever's necessary. So this, for this body to hire them separately to do
Right.
another inspection is sort of going around the end of things. Now, I will tell you that last week, when FR Carroll was out, he and Jim met with Mr. Fremont up at Farm Pond Road to look at doing the paving. And he indicated to Jim that he didn't want to finish the paving right now because there was going to be some additional construction. He wanted to wait. So that's fine, but it doesn't become a town road till it has that final
Right.
pavement coat on it. So and I don't think the action that was taken at town meeting sunsets. We've gotten the approval to do it once everything's done.
Yeah, I mean, so we have to do it 2025, we'll do it 2025.
Right, right,
I'm sure Mr. Greenland's looking to do it as quickly as possible.
exactly. But he's in control here because he's the guy that's, and the purpose in bringing our paving contractor out there was the idea that when he's here working for us, he may save himself some mobilization costs and do it for a little smaller dollars. But ultimately, it's the developer's call as to when he gets it finished. And when it's finished, then, and verified that it's finished, then we can go ahead and have our.
So we need to have
relations-
Karen notify HEB that we want them to operate under their planning board contract.
Right,
And you'll refer it to planning board, right?
yeah,
So no action taken.
right.
Good.
Excuse me, just to repeat that, so you just want HEB to follow their process with the planning board as appropriate, not any further action, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, the next item is I have 5 abatement recommendations. I'll list off the first parcel. This is property tax map 2-1-77, an abatement of $66,800. Have you seen this?
66,000 in value.
Yes.
Adjustment, yeah. I will move approval.
So this is recommended by our assessor.
Yes. So what's happened is people have come to him and contested the assessed valuation, and he's reviewed their file. His work, I believe in most cases, has met with the individuals at the actual property.
Yes.
And in all of these cases is recommending an adjustment of the assessed valuation.
Right. And he has a paragraph on the front page articulating the process.
All right, I'll second it.
Good discussion.
And then we'll have a little discussion. You know, I appreciate Rod's efforts, but I will make $100 bet with anybody here today or anybody listening that this property is going to sell for more than $900,000 when it's actually sold. And so I have yet to see lakefront property reducing in value. And they have all the arguments for why it might be reduced in value, but we don't get to make that up at the end of the day. So when the sales proceeds or sale packet comes through our office and the piece of property is sold for $980,000 and we've only been taxing for $880,000, we can't send them a bill for that $100,000 valuation difference. So. But I've seconded it.
Any further discussion?
Hmm?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. The next one is property tax map 15-3-32. Assessment abatement recommended for $15,700.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Just wait.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. The next one is for property tax map 16-2-15, an assessment abatement recommended of $10,500.
I will move approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. The next one I'm recusing myself on.
And you're recusing yourself because,
Family member.
okay? So this is for PID 32-1-1, and the abated amount is $70,600.
7-0.
70,600. So I will move approval.
Well, I'll second for discussion. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Anything else to be signed?
I don't think so.
Next is correspondence file. This is from Chief Thompson. Just a quick update for the Selectmen on our department's response to a call. They went mutual aid to 581 Pleasant Valley Road in Wolfboro at 2:29 a.m. for a second alarm structure fire. Engine 2, Engine 4, Utility 2 responded to the scene with 7 personnel, and 4 personnel covered town at Central Station. This is April.
And I'd like to commend the chief on record, because we did have a meeting a while back about informing the board of selectmen on activities from the police department, fire department, and other departments. And I think Chief Thompson
That's
stepped up.
right on. Yep.
I agree. This is from Guy Pike. As the former chairman of the Mirror Lake Watershed Committee, I would like to participate in the 19-mile Brook Committee.
Well, there we got a committee, huh?
Yes. This is reference townwide cleanup. And you address this, anyone who has an appointment with the board and isn't comfortable with appearing in person can call in instead.
Right.
And townwide cleanup,
It's
being roadside cleanup.
roadside cleanup. That's this coming Saturday, coordinated as always by the Tufton Borough Association. And there was some back and forth about is it appropriate, is it not appropriate? And the association decided, and I guess I agree with them, that it's consistent with guidance that we've gotten from the governor on not gathering in large groups, but getting out and taking local walks and that sort of thing. We do have blue bags available in the vestibule at the town offices for anybody that would like to stop and pick some up to gather trash with. And once you get your bags full, if you're on a state road, just leave them alongside the road. That's part of the state highway department's responsibility, is to pick up those bags of trash.
And on the town roads.
And on the town roads, take it with you, take to the transfer station.
And is there any mechanism in the program that's been put together for designated certain portions? I mean, I guess if I'm looking at
Yes.
social distancing, I want to know if Todd Graymont down next to my daughter's is going to do his piece.
Yeah.
Or if I'll do that.
Normally, what happens is there's a sign-up board, and you sign up for a section of road that you're gonna work. That's sort of, because that would involve coming into the town offices and doing that sort of thing, is not happening this year. I believe what they're encouraging is that as folks do the work, that they post something on the association's Facebook page to say, hey, I've cleaned this section up, that sort of thing. Some mechanism to track what's actually done. I guess what I'd say is, you got a bag and you want to work on a section of road and it hasn't been worked on, nobody has dibs on it. You clean it up, that's great. There are always some sections that are well-traveled in terms of people picking stuff up, and others that don't get it.
I just know that my driveway onto Ledge Hill Road is exactly one beer away from the Tufton store.
Yeah, as is Skip Cope's driveway down
Yes.
here
Yes.
on Middle Road, yeah.
Well, that's been resolved. The store is closed.
Right, well, Lincoln will be able,
Right.
maybe they'll drop it off a little earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you to all the volunteers. The next is correspondence from Dave Allwine, reference doing the testing with Stan Tech. Before implementing the work, I'd like to confirm with you, Clay, that you're in agreement with the analysis of Governor Sununu's order. Unless I hear from you on the contrary, we plan on completing the April sampling work as described. I'm happy to discuss the issue further if you have any questions. Clay wrote back, I totally concur. We should proceed with monitoring and reporting requirements. They don't violate the space restrictions or violate the governor's orders. Okay with the board?
Yeah.
Sure.
And talking about department heads being organized, we just had Clay Gallagher, another guy who communicates with us. Any other correspondence? Selectmen's updates?
I was gonna call Tyler Phillips and I didn't. I will call Tyler Phillips this week. I didn't, I guess I was looking for a sense from the board, which I didn't get. And no fault of yours, I probably didn't ask, of what direction we wanna go. Do we wanna fight for the steel stuff around the outside of the concrete?
I think when we were together last week, we were in agreement, but
And maybe I missed that.
well, that it makes sense to have this whole thing encapsulated all the way around as a final project, and we're trying to figure out why the DES has decided they want to go a different direction and what the, you know, how do we get from where we are now, which seems to be a pullback from what they talked about before, into a project that finishes this thing off all the way around with a consistent perimeter and allows for safe access all up and down both sides of the wharf and protects what's there at the wharf from further deterioration. That's my
All right, so we
recollection.
have the time, all we're gonna do this year anyway is permit. Put the,
I agree with you guys. No, let's get the entire project. The store's gonna open, there's gonna be more boat traffic. I understand how the state of New Hampshire works, maybe it's just power issues, I don't know. You've had a nice way of not alienating anybody, which
that will last forever.
but, you know, and
I mean, my first question would be, have DES step up and say, this is why we don't want you to do it, not just some vague, scientifically tenuous notion, but an actual reality. This is why you shouldn't do it. I mean, we're gonna have to sell why we don't do it to our population. DES doesn't ever have to run for election or answer to anybody. So we need to have an appropriate answer for the public.
well, maybe, and to add to you, I support where you're coming from, but if that store is up and running and is operating at full tilt, it's income for the state. It's income for the town. Now, it's second, third hand, and I'm stretching the point, but there's a bigger picture here. Now, I understand about, yes, the sand that comes in from the west, you know, you might have to dredge every 10 years or something like that. Well, I understand the forces of nature, but if the dock is there, make it serviceable. So at least I'd be willing to investigate that.
All right.
So full speed ahead.
Okay.
The last thing that was in the green folder was department head's communication policy. And there's a revisit with a question mark there, so I'm sure we'll do that.
Yeah.
Do you have any updates?
I have several items, actually. Seems like it was
Thanks,
a
that's
busy,
always been working.
a busy week, yeah. I did go around with Jim and Frank Carroll on Tuesday. Went up and down Dame Road and North Line Road, trying to sense where we go with the paving this year, given that that one section of Dame Road south of where we paved last year is just horrendous. As a matter of
I
fact,
came across it this morning.
it's worse than any of the other
It's a
work
dirt
that we have, yeah, well, it's dirt road because they've had to put a lot of gravel in there to fill it up. So at this point, Frank was gonna go back and put together some alternatives. And in my experience in working with him in the past, he does lots of road paving, and he has a good handle on, ways to get as much of a job done as we can.
Well, they're working on the drainage today, actually.
They are working on drainage, and the drainage, whether it be in the area that we're paving this year, or if we decide we're not gonna pave there this year, we're gonna work a different section, that drainage needs to be done, regardless of whether we're actually gonna finish that road this year. One of the things we did talk about, when we're up on North Line, is where North Line, the first section of North Line that comes into Ledge Hill Road is particularly bad. The first, maybe eighth of a mile is particularly broken up. And then looking at what we were dealing with, drainage along there is horrible. And I floated the idea that we may want to look at moving the road over a little bit in that area, because on the south side, as you come up toward the intersection, it's pretty close to that stone wall. On the other side, there's a huge area of grass that runs back, and who knows if it makes good sense to do it, but moving it over 6 feet, let's say, can allow for drainage on both sides. And when you're going in there to rebuild it, which is what we're doing anyway, we're gonna break up everything that's there and ensure we got adequate gravel and then good base to put down a coat of pavement. That's a time,
Right.
if we have room within the right of way, and I think we do, to move it over. And I'm not envisioning a huge move. Like I
Well,
said,
there has to be room on that south side for culverts and catch basins.
right,
So
and
water
there's
comes
some of
down
those areas,
Get
and
across.
as you may know, on both sides of that, it's pretty flat, right up to the edge. And we were out there last Tuesday, and you can see there's water right alongside the edge of the road, but not just that, all the way back through the field, because there's not much slope there. It's just wet. And so whatever we can do to provide ourselves with the room to get better drainage in will help make the road a better,
Well, the last
more long-lasting product.
I lean toward your expertise because your family's been in it for a couple generations. You understand the road building and whatever. The other thing is with catch basins, and you're spot on, Bill, is a catch basin is 24/7. And you don't have the ditch, which narrows the road like that. So both of you people, I agree with. The other thing
They
is,
try to move it across the road somehow.
Right.
well, there's already a catch basin in at that intersection. So
Yeah.
the infrastructure is
Right.
already there.
There's a catch basin with the amount of area that drains right onto it. There may need to be additional, and there certainly needs to be some under drainage in there to dry out the road bed. as
And the
well.
other thing is with the catch basin is the trap catches the dirt and the road materials, and the system of catch basins like they built in Wolfboro takes the energy and the bad stuff out of the water, so it's just a brook like this. I mean, look up at Ledge Hill Road opposite Lisden Road. There's 3 or 4 acres that's 50 years worth of silt has
Yeah.
been deposited there, so I support your program 100%. I do like the idea, if we don't do all of North Line Road this year, we need to do it where the road is in disrepair in other sections like that. And when I asked Jim about it, it's my understanding they will grind the tar and use that as part of the material for the road base.
Right.
So I'm on board with you guys. The other thing is, as I sit on the CIP, as I go to town meeting, as I go to the budget committee, it seems that the town voters, the town legislature, wants our roads to improve. And that's not an indictment on anybody, they're willing to invest in that, so.
Yeah, I think there's just, some pushback as we've got some big projects,
Right.
but we can
Any other projects you have?
So, last week, our no-fault herbicide contractor got the state permit filed, got the notices out
Yeah, that was in the paper this week.
of where they're gonna be. They anticipate doing herbicide treatment, which is at the Melvin Village Marina and in the area adjacent to the bridge at 19 Mile Bay. So that, yeah, I should say the notice was in the paper, and all of the abutters should have or should be receiving a notice in the mail. The watershed management plan advisory committee met for way too long on Friday morning, and those meetings are always long. The plan is toward the final stages of being developed. We looked at a number of suggested design for projects to reduce runoff into the lake. Part of what they're doing in putting the plan together is creating designs for several model projects at areas where we're seeing lots of runoff into the lake at this point. So it's moving along, but one thing that was underscored to me as we went through this process is how important vegetation is close to the lake in keeping runoff, particularly the minerals and nutrients, from doing that. I know you're working on a project toward doing some brush trimming down at 19 Mile Bay, and I just ask that you keep the Conservation Commission engaged.
Yes.
So that we don't get carried away with brush cutting and end up, on the one hand, we're looking to put features in to improve the lake, and on the other hand, we're cutting the bushes back so it's easier to look at the lake, but guess what? Now we're putting more nutrients in over here.
Especially phosphorus.
Yep,
Yep,
exactly.
you're absolutely right.
All right. So I think that's all I have for this week.
I want to thank you for continuing to fine tune where the microphones go and all that. You've worked diligently, thank you. And you've listed,
Are
you've listened.
any other committees met up here?
I know that Ag Commission has a brief meeting here this afternoon. I don't know of any other committees. I came in here last week and took all the extra seats and pushed them back in the corner. It's about Thursday, and then I stopped in here, whenever it was, Saturday, and somebody had been in here and set all those chairs back up. So we have more than adequate seating set up in here right now for the permitted 9 people, and
So we got any vigilante?
so we don't need people coming in here and setting more chairs back up. If you need more chairs, then you have too big a group to be gathering under the current guidance. So, and we do have a sign up on the door now that calls out that no more than 9 people in a gathering until the situation changes.
I brought up the thing about Ted Benz that I brought
Yeah,
up, so,
yeah.
and my condolences to the family. Any other, under other business from public?
not over here.
Anything on the phone line?
Any public inputs, Karen?
No, it's just me on today. Thank you.
Okay.
Karen, how's it going from home?
It's actually going pretty well, thanks. I've been going in about 3 evenings a week, or like 2 evenings during the week and on Saturdays, to do the paperwork type thing, but it's actually going pretty well.
Anything this week to do to fine tune it?
Honestly, you've been a huge help, and with the phone and everything, that I could hear, Jack perfectly today. That worked out just fine, thank you. So as we go along, I think we'll keep learning, but so far so good.
Great.
Before I go into non-public, under the department head communication policy, the next time that we meet, can we put this on the docket? So if anyone has some suggestions, please write them down.
So Karen, can you remind the police chief and fire chief,
Road agent.
road agent, Clay Gallagher. So I'll take a look at that. They've got 2 weeks to come up with their complaints or recommendations.
You got it, no problem.
I'm sorry?
She said, you got it.
Oh, no, yeah, no problem.
If there's no other public business, I have on the agenda to go into a non-public.
Legal?
Yes,
So you need a motion.
yes.
All right, I'll make a motion that we're doing the non-public RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral nothing L, for review of legal.
I think it's Roman numeral 2, parentheses C for reputation.
Yeah,
That's what I have.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And,
Okay.
and I'll second that.
Wood, yes.
Marcus, yes.
All be yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
10:01, I'm behind schedule.